Some call it a commodity, some call it a currency, some call it investing, while some call it nothing but a blind gamble. I'm talking about cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? How safe is it to invest in cryptocurrencies if investment is what you call it? And is cryptocurrency something which is really meant for you, our viewer? That's something that we will try and demystify for you today on this very special video. I'm joined by two eminent experts from the world of cryptocurrency joining me here. Nishchal Shetty. Nishchal Shetty is the founder and CEO of Wazir X. I'm also joined by Amit Kumar Gupta. Amit Kumar Gupta is fund manager at Adroid PMS. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Please help us demystify what is cryptocurrency. Nishchal, if I can begin by asking you, all that glitters is not gold, and all that is cryptocurrency is perhaps not a Bitcoin. To a layman, how would you explain the term cryptocurrency?
There are various definitions of how you look at cryptocurrency, but usually I try to make it simpler, non-technical for people. The best way that you can look at cryptocurrency is it's more like your what happens in your offline cash system. When I pay a 100 rupee note, I give it to you. It's a transaction between just me and you. Whereas in the banking system, it's a three-party transaction. When I transfer money from my bank account to yours, it goes to my bank, and then from my bank to your bank account. So what Bitcoin replicated was the cash system, where it says that just two people on the internet can transact between each other without needing a third party in between. So that was just the core idea of Bitcoin, and that's how Bitcoin came in. So today, when you send a cryptocurrency, let's say from your wallet to mine.
So that's easy to understand, but unfortunately, cryptocurrency is still not legal tender. So I can transfer crypto to your wallet, you can transfer it to me, both of us together can transfer it to a third person. But then if it's not legal tender, can it actually buy me goods and services? So is it a currency technically?
The thing with Bitcoin has been very funny. So it started as a alternate electronic cash, like a currency. That was the idea behind Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous founder of Bitcoin, creating it. But over the years, what has happened is the very nature of Bitcoin, if you look at it, is the number one thing that people will tell you is it has limited supply, which is 21 million. So by that nature, it becomes a deflationary asset because the value is increasing as more people come.
Yeah, but for a country like India, where you still don't have cryptocurrencies regulated, what kind of a risk appetite would you have to actually invest in something which could very well turn out to be a Ponzi scheme? So it's got to be risky. While it has given great returns over the last many years, but there is a risk involved because there's no regulator.
The first thing is, like I said in the beginning, it's a decentralized asset, which means there's no company sitting there and getting all the money and issuing Bitcoin. It's completely decentralized. So for a Ponzi scheme, you need a perpetrator who's going to then run away with your money eventually. But that's not going to happen in this decentralized ecosystem. So from a technical point of view, we don't have to worry. But the second question is definitely the risk and the fact that it's a new technology. And if we've seen the history of tech, either the tech really goes on to be adopted globally and everyone's using that tech, or it might come off as something that's shiny, but eventually nobody wants it. Uh, Fortunately for Bitcoin, it's been 10 years. And it's shown that while there are short-term price fluctuations and wild swings in prices, but over a 3 to 4 year period, Bitcoin has always given positive return to people. So usually, what I do is I tell people to look at the history, that 10 years, look at the way it has fluctuated, and then you take a conscious decision. End of the day, it is definitely a high risk, high return asset class today. Just simply because there are maybe 50 million people in the world today who are invested in this, and there's a lot more to come in. If they come in, your investment would be worth it. If not, it will remain a niche asset.
Amit, let me come to you. You've been listening in patiently. Are you advising your clients to go ahead and make some investments in cryptocurrencies? And if so, just define the profile of your clients who are actually making that investment.
We have been invested in gold for almost 1.5 years, since December 2018 till last year, July, August. And it had a very good run gold. But at that point of time, we also, there were a lot of news flow around the Bitcoin. And when we actually understood the whole technology and how it is being adopted by, various funds, by in general in the payment system, we decided to make the switch. And those who have access, we have recommended a 5 to 10% switch from gold to Bitcoin in the whole asset allocation of the portfolios. Unfortunately, in India, it's not a legal tender, so people are a little skeptical. There is not much regulatory framework as well. So we are not currently advising the Indian clients, but the HNI clients who have access to bitcoins and who have got brokerage accounts with the foreign brokerage houses and who can transact bitcoins, there we are advising to make a shift and allocate like 5 to 10% of their asset allocation into Bitcoin.
Nishal, how would you counter that? Because what Amit is saying is totally detrimental to your cause. You have an exchange and you've got your own cryptocurrency. But if people like Amit are advising people not to invest, Indians not to invest in cryptocurrencies right now, what's your rebuttal to that?
I said I'll have to have a word with Amit after this. To convince him maybe to get his clients to get some exposure. But in general, what is happening is I've been seeing these skepticism from some section, but there's also a section of fund managers and all who want to get invested in this early because they're looking at their counterparts. Let's say in the US, for example, there are now hedge funds which are being very vocal. There's a hedge fund called MicroStrategy, for example. They bought in about 400 or 500 million dollars worth of Bitcoin, and it was just 6 or 7 months ago. The funny thing is they bought at $15,000, and a lot of people said it's expensive. But right now, Bitcoin's at about 34. So that fund has just doubled their investment in 6 to 7 months.
Let me just switch over quickly to a policy framework here, where there are talks that there's a proposal where GST may be levied on cryptocurrencies, returns on cryptocurrencies. What is that going to do if the bill is passed, and if tax is to be imposed on cryptocurrencies? Is it going to make investors, potential investors, optimistic of the government actually recognizing it legally as something on which tax is imposed? Or is it going to deter away investors because their returns are going to be taxed? So how are you placed on the GST?
See, any sort of a I would say government related movement is a step in the right direction. And while I've read reports, I don't know the specifics. Nobody knows the specifics of this whole GST related, but I think anything in the right direction, be it GST, income tax, whatever, the clarity when it comes. Because right now in India, the biggest problem is not about whether it's legal or illegal. It's the regulatory unclarity that exists today. I think that has to go away. And these in bits and pieces, each department in the government coming up with their definitions and their ideas will definitely help us move crypto in the right direction in India. So it's definitely a positive move when I hear that someone in the government departments is thinking about how to tackle this. That's a great move, and we as an industry are always happy to work with various departments to help them understand what cryptocurrencies are and what's the right way to go about it. So I would say it's definitely positive.
So Amit, if it were to be taxed, do you think regulatory clarity is going to drive up demand of cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, I think I haven't seen that report where it talks about the GST, but my sense is that if people are trading on it and you want to take it at par with the other asset classes like equity and asset, so there could be a case of short-term capital gain or long-term capital gain, depending on how much you are actually holding the cryptos. But I think it's too early, and there have been inputs from the government. But we need to see, how it goes forward and what exactly the framework which comes in. Because globally, I don't think there is a taxation on the cryptos. But we have to see here, how the government is actually treating that. Because cryptos were banned for almost 2 years. Now the ban has been lifted by Supreme Court, and now these discussions have started, which is a very big positive. But we need to see how much time, generally in India takes a little bit of time to, finalize these frameworks. So let's see how how the framework goes in the next 6 to 12 months.
Right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I think we are pretty clear that regulatory clarity is something that we definitely require before investors would start taking cryptocurrency seriously. And at the same time, perhaps it's a tool for the rich to dabble into right now. For the middle class, it'll possibly take a little more time. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen.